Never done this before. I've seen lots of YouTube videos on it, so therefore I'm almost an expert. Come with me and let's see how it works out. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks workshop. I have something entirely different, completely new to me, probably new to you too. I have never done this before, but I'm getting ready to try. And you might be asking, well, what is that? Well, that is we're going to go tap some trees to collect some sap and make some syrup. And you say syrup, well, you must be talking pancake syrup, and I'm saying, yep, that's right. And you must be saying maple syrup, and I'm saying, nope, not so much. And you're thinking, what other kind is there? Well, we aren't blessed with a lot of maple trees. In fact, I think we have only one maple tree in this whole property, maybe two, that are big enough to tap. And they are hard maples, actually, and they would make sugar and all that. But and we may tap them too, you never know. But right now, we are blessed with a whole bunch of walnut trees. Now, we had our place logged, and they took out several truckloads of walnut out of here. However, the walnuts that are around the house and around the barns, and there are still quite a few fairly good-sized walnut trees scattered throughout the property. So I'm sure we can find at least 25 trees to tap. So I bought these taps, spigots, or I think they call them spires or something. I don't even know what they call them. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's what you do with it. And basically you drill a 5/16" hole into the tree, plug that in. The sap drips out right here. And I have saved a bunch of 1-gallon jugs, you know, from milk and from tea and some different things that we drink here at the farm. So then I'm going to take this little short pieces of tubing, if I need it, and we'll pipe it right into those jugs, hang them on the sides of trees, and see what happens. Come with me and let's see how it works out. Well, my friends, here we are with all the milk jugs and tea jugs and things like that. And that's why this kind of a vehicle is so handy here on the farm. You're always doing some odd job. These things are handier than a pocket on a shirt. Just to give you your bearings, there's the shop door right there in the center. And we are coming to this tree right here. It's a walnut tree. That little one's a walnut tree, but we won't tap that. And then this bigger one here is a walnut tree. But that one on the far end there, that's an elm tree, so we can't tap that. Technically you can. You can collect sap from most trees. They just don't all produce that good of sugar. But there's a lot of trees, more than you would ever believe, that you can get sugar out of. So anyway, walnuts are supposed to be especially good. So we're going to do the walnuts. I'm going to set up right here, and I thought we'd just start with a close tree right here by the shop and see how it goes, because I have no idea. My idea is to go about this kind of backwards. I'm going to hang the jug first because I don't know how I'm going to hang these jugs. Now, I was thinking about driving a screw, wiring them, all that kind of complicated stuff. And maybe that's what I should do, because that would be easier to remove. But I'm thinking I may just take and drive a screw right through the handle into the tree, and it just saves a lot of time and effort. I may regret that decision, but that's what I'm going to try. I like simple. Anything that's simple, I like it. I believe that's there to stay. So let's get a tap. I got a 5/16" drill bit. And by the way, this is the south side of the tree, which is what they claim you should tap. I don't know exactly how high I should tap it, so it's just kind of a guess. They say to knock a little bark away. I might do that. I don't know. Might be a good idea. It is kind of thick bark. I don't have my hatchet with me, so I've got a claw hammer, and I'll try knocking a little bark away from this here. just a little bit, just enough to get you down to, you know, a lower level here. I'm not getting down to the actual sapwood or anything. I'm going to drill it at a very, very slight downward angle. Level to downward angle, I think, is just about right. On the other YouTube videos, as soon as they drill in, they start seeing sap. Not so much here. I'm drilling in a little deeper to see if anything changes. I see nothing. That means one or two things. Butternut walnut trees don't produce enough sap, I'm drilling into the wrong place, or it's just too cold still. I see nothing. Well, strike on number one. I think I'll remove this for now, move to another tree, a regular walnut tree, and see if we have any better luck. Well, here we go with attempt number two. Now, this is a regular black walnut. The other one was, like I said, what they call a butternut walnut. It's a black walnut also. Almost looks the same, just a little different. The nut on these are much more round. The nut on the butternut is just a little bit more oblong. And I say a little bit. You could barely tell the difference. If someone didn't tell you that they were different, you wouldn't notice it. So, but yet the bark looks a little different. Maybe these will do better. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. Well, I don't see anything. This one did seem a little wetter though, I will say that. I don't know. It's crazy. All these YouTubers just drill into their walnut trees and they start leaking. That's the Rosa curse there, that Rosa luck thing. I don't see no leaking. I'm going to put a tap there, and I'm going to go ahead and put a jug there, and I think I'm going to just stop, and maybe I'll do one more. I'll do 3 trees. We'll just see what happens over the next day or two. If I see where they start dripping, well then I'll start tapping some more. So there's what she looks like. I just drilled a screw through the handle. I drilled a hole right here where the nipple goes down, and just stuck it in there. I'm going to try one more, and if it doesn't produce any sap right now, I'm just going to give up. There's another walnut tree right there, great big walnut tree right here, and so we'll just try that one, and if that one does something, then we'll continue on. If not, we're going to wait for a day or two. Maybe you can see it dripping there. Hopefully I can maybe zoom it in a little bit more. Yep, you can see it dripping. So the third one works. Don't know what the difference is. Pretty much did the same thing. I did drill in just a little deeper on this one. So what I think I'll do is go back to the other ones and maybe drill them a little deeper if I need to, maybe. Okay, so I drilled a little hole there. I got it hanging on that nipple right there to catch the juice. Now I'm going to drill a hole through the handle into the tree just to hold it there. It seems to work pretty well. Probably not the best way to do it, but it's not a bad way. I think that's really solid. It feels solid anyway. Might be a little bit awkward if there gets to be a lot of juice in there, but I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I'm looking down here. Have we got any accumulation yet? Just a little bit. It's working, so maybe I'll try one more and see if it's still working. For the record, I just came back to number 2. This is tree number 2, and it is actually dripping now. So maybe I was just a little premature. I went ahead and drilled it a little bit deeper just to be sure, and I put the jug back on there. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and tap the rest of them, I guess, since it is working. Well, my friends, I came back to tree number 1. This is that butternut tree, and it's got juice in it. It didn't seem to have anything going when I first put it in there. So there is one more butternut tree. I've only got 2 taps left. I've put in 23 taps out of 25. So I'm going to put one of them in this other butternut tree right in the middle there. I think you can see it. And then we're going to put one more down there in a big tree down there. We've got plenty more walnut trees. If this is looking like it's going to produce, I might order another 25 taps. I don't know. I figure start small. I figure 25 this year, and if we make 25 gallons, I doubt even we'll get that much. You only get, it's 50 to 1, so you would only, if you got 25 gallons, you'd only get a half a gallon of syrup by the time you boil it down. I understand it's crazy, it's not worth the effort, all that. I just wanted to try it one time. But let's go ahead and get this last butternut tree tap. Kind of got my system down now, it's much easier. I don't think that one's dripping yet. Yeah, yes it is. There's some in the bottom there. So I guess it is working. Just slower, they don't drip as fast. Maybe it's the time of the year yet or something. Maybe they drip more later. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna put in the final tap that I have, the 25. I might make up my own tap and tap a few more trees. I don't know. I've got a few more jugs. I might just go ahead and go with all the jugs I have. Once again, I just knock off a little bit of the rough outer surface bark. I'm not trying to get down to below the bark. It's just to give, this bark is so thick on walnuts that, you can't get the jug close to the tree. Some of the trees just start dripping instantly. A lot of them don't. This one's dripping now. So that's good. And my last tap. Nothing to brag about, I can tell you, but it is dripping. Maybe you can see it dripping there. So we'll get our jug on there and catch that valuable sap. It kind of hangs itself there, but then I just attach it to the tree with one screw. And yeah, I'll have to unscrew every one of these to get the stuff out, but I figure that's going to take a little while. They're easily unscrewed, so I'm not too worried about that. I can just come by with this at every tree and unscrew it, dump the contents into a bucket, and we should be ready to go. Well, looky here, my friends. I would say this is about average for the day for the amount of sap that has come in this in just one day. We'll come around here. Maybe you can see the line better there. You can see the line at the bottom. Now that's kind of the average. Come over and look at this other tree right over here and look how much more is in this one. Now why is that? I don't know. Look how much is in that jug right there. It's, I would say, slightly over half full. That's amazing. And believe it or not, that tree right up there is the same way, that you can see has a jug on it also right up there. Amazing. So we're going to take these two and empty them just because they're so full. I'm afraid that overnight it'll get too full. So we're going to go ahead and empty those right now. I have a food grade bucket here that we're going to empty this into. And as I mentioned earlier, I screwed these in through the handle, and I thought that would be the easiest, and I think it still is for my purposes. It's fairly easy to just take that screw out, and then I can just drop this down and pour it right into the bucket. It's amazing. And you can see this one's just dripping like crazy. And for the record, we'll just show you the level here. Get my shadow out of the way. And you can see the level. It's about a half a gallon there also, or maybe just a little more. So just between those two trees, we've got a little over a gallon of sap today. That's just amazing. And we'll pour that much into the bucket. And I am sure we've got well over a gallon there. That's pretty awesome, just out of two trees. Well, my friends, that 5-gallon bucket is completely full. And I would say completely full, like right up to there, about there. And I've already put the lid on it, or I would show you. It's hard to get those lids on and off, so I didn't think about it until then. But all I have done is the trees between right here and turning around and the house. And that's just these trees. That's about, roughly half of the trees. And in one day we got 5 gallons on half the trees. So I'm gonna go check the other half, and we'll see how much more we get. Well, after you collect all that sap, and we have at the moment collected around 20 gallons or probably a little more of sap, you start to run into storage problems. I mean, since we're not really set up to do this as a business, you know, finding a place to put 20 gallons of sap and keep it cool is difficult sometimes. I mean, you can store it outside when the temperatures are cold, and they are right now, but the point is you just need more space. And so what we're doing then is taking what we've collected so far and we're boiling it down. We're not trying to actually make syrup yet. We're just trying to reduce the volume. So we've got 20 gallons or so, and we're going to try to, reduce that down to around, say, 5 gallons or so. And that will still just be sap, technically, but it'll be more of a concentrated sap. This is a copper kettle, by the way. We made apple butter in that once before, which is really fun. But right now, you can kind of see down in there, it's just a steaming cauldron. And the reason you do it outside, number one, is because there's so much steam, that would just be in your house, be a little more than you need in your house, number one. And then number two, that steam is a little bit sticky, so it can get on things in the house and make things feel sticky. Well, my friends, we've advanced to this stage. You saw the big cooking pot, and we reduced it down and reduced it down. I'm going to say roughly we had 22 to 25 gallons, somewhere in there, and it's reduced down to that pot, and that little jug right over there. And that's all we've got left. And it's already turned a nice color, as you can see by looking in that jug. And when you put your finger in it and taste it, it tastes very sweet. Tastes almost like sweet tea. According to the refractometer, we are actually only at 20%, and we need to go to 66%, I believe, or really close to that. If you don't know what a refractometer is, I called it a refractometer. Most people pronounce it refractometer. Anyway, it doesn't really matter what you call it as long as you know how to use it. And you put your sample on here, put a few drops of your liquid on this. You close the little door there, and you look at a bright light, and there's a scale on the inside of this. And on that scale, it tells you, the top half is blue and the bottom half is white, I believe. And right where they meet is the percentage, and we have 20% right now, and we're trying to get up to around 66%, I believe. And the way you do that is, of course, is you boil more water off, and you're left with more syrup. I expect to have nearly a half a gallon when we're done. That's just based on the fact that we had approximately 25 gallons of sap to start with. We'll see if that works out. Well, you can see they've boiled down quite a bit more, and we're about to combine them into one pot now. Now that's, keep in mind, all of the sap. Now we had some more in a jug, and that's all been added to. It's probably more than it looks like. We're at about 40% right now on the bricks, which is still 20% lower than where we need to be. We need to be about 26% higher, so we need to be about 66 to 67%. But we're going to strain this one. This one's not as clear for some reason. We're going to strain this one into this one. Then we're going to boil them down together. As you can see, we've got it down to one pot, and it's boiling pretty well. I think it's around 40%, on our way to 67% roughly. I just checked it moments ago and we're at 63%. Now that's sugar content, if you're wondering what the percentage amounts to. So we're at 63%. We need to be between 66 and 68.9. So, 67 would be a perfect score. That's where we're going to try to hit. Well, my friends, I think we did really good here. I think we got almost exactly the amount that I was expecting to get. And everything worked out just perfect. It came out to 67% and we shut her down. I moved it over here on this side because this burner is cooler and I didn't want it to heat up anymore beyond where it was. So from this point on it should just be cooling and that should be fine. We're going to bottle it and we'll show you what it looks like in the bottle. Well, you can see there that we've got 4 little canning jars there. Those are what, pint jars? I think it's 2 pints to a quart. And it's 4 quarts to a gallon. But I'm not sure of that. Anyway, the point is we've got 3 pints and some little jelly jar full. And then we got those fancier little maple syrup type bottles full. And of course it's walnut syrup that we have in there. We were tasting it in this form right here. You can see the drips that came out, and it's just like any other pancake syrup you'd ever want to see, and it is absolutely delicious. I mean, it's just amazing that that just came out of a tree. It's just amazing. You add nothing to it, you just boil it down and end up with sugar. It's wonderful. I messed up my ending of my video because what I did was I heated up a nice biscuit. I put on some butter on 1/2, and then I sopped up all of the syrup that was spilled on this pan, and I put them together, and I took a good old bite out of it, as you can already see. And I'm absolutely floored how good it is. I mean, it really is incredibly sweet. Tastes wonderful. I mean, I haven't had any syrup anywhere that tastes any better. It's just as good as anything I've ever tasted. And I would even say a little bit better since we had all that elbow grease involved. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching.